Back. Well, if your New Year's resolution is to get outside or get moving, the Seven Creeks Winter Hiking Spree Challenge is a chance to tackle both. Joining me to share the details is Fred Richards, the new executive director for the Timucuan Parks Foundation. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, Ann. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being here. We're also joined on the phone by Emily Palmer. She is a park ranger with the National Park Service. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning.
So I would like to start, if I could, Fred. You are new to this role, but you
hmm
have a long background in both the nonprofit world and the world of connecting people to nature. So, how what are you looking forward to in this job, and how does your background kind of inform what you're going to be doing?
Well, this is really an exciting opportunity for me. Being new to Jacksonville and being able to explore these wonderful park systems that we have here has just been really enlightening to me about what kind of jewel that we have here. 80,000 acres of parkland, 25 plus parks. And this all really started in 1999, as well as the journey of our own organization. We started in 1999, celebrating our 25th year this year. But it started with Mayor John Delaney and the Preservation Project in Jacksonville. We went through a period of acquisition, which was basically acquiring the properties and the lands and making sure that we were preserving those. And then in 2010, we started the activation mode, which is really bringing people to the parks. Our mission is basically preserving, promoting, and enhancing Jacksonville's natural areas through community education, engagement, and enjoyment. So right now, we're really promoting the engagement and enjoyment aspect of these parks, and that's what we're doing for the next, hopefully, decades to come.
I kind of remember even before Mayor Delaney, obviously his park preservation project was a huge part of expanding the footprint of, parkland. But even before that, Congressman Charlie Bennett, who kind of was an advocate for the whole Timucuan area before it had any, designation for preservation. But yeah, the goal has now been shifting to getting people to explore these places because there is such an enormous amount of land to explore. So
Yes.
for people who haven't been to the Seven Creeks area, just briefly
hmm
describe.
Great. Well, the Seven Creeks area is comprised of, there's basically 7 parks out there. We have the Betz-Tiger Point Preserve, the Bogey Creek Preserve, Cedar Point Preserve, and then Cedar Point, which is the National Park Service, Pumpkin Hill Creek Preserve State Park, the Jim Wingate Preserve, and the Pescatello Island, only accessible by kayak.
Oh,
But through our partnerships, we have partnerships with the Florida State Parks, the National Park Service, and the North Florida Land Trust, as well as the city of Jacksonville. So together through this partnership, we're promoting areas like this for engagement and enjoyment.
yeah.
Um, so the Seven Creeks Winter Hiking Spree is actually taking place from January 1st through March 31st. And all that you have to do to get involved in this is basically go to our website and you download a access tracking. It's basically a tracking log. And on that tracking log, it's self-reported, so you can verify that you've been out these trails. You send the information back to us. You can download the tracking form if you go to our Timucuan Parks.org and go to the news and events page, and then you drop down to the Seven Creeks Hiking Spree. You'll see all the information there about this event. So it's just a great opportunity. There's 5,600 acres of connected land out there. There's 30 miles of trails, and there's opportunities for everybody. There's opportunities for hiking, horseback riding, kayaking, canoeing, fishing. There's numerous scenic overlooks and overviews, and there's a lot of bird watching as well. So, in fact, if you were to go to Cedar Point, the National Park Service area, there's over 200 species of birds that you might be able to see, and you might even catch the painted bunting, the elusive painted bunting.
Yeah, which some
Um,
would like to be our state bird. Emily, I want to ask you because you've been a park ranger with the National Park Service since 2009. Um, for people who haven't been to this area, what do you tell them about its draw, its appeal, and why they should visit?
I really love that so many different entities are working together in the Seven Creeks area because it creates vast swaths of uninterrupted parklands. And, animals don't really care if it's a City of Jacksonville park or if it's a national park, but having that uninterrupted experience for them just means that we have this little enclave in the ever-growing city of Jacksonville that's going to be natural, that's going to be a great spot, like you said, for birding. But it's also an amazing spot for history because out at our property at Cedar Point, we have um, Spanish missions. We have archaeological digs happening oftentimes in the summer with UNF partnerships, and we have the ruins of a early plantation out in the of the Blue Trail. So there's a lot of history as well. We also offer ranger guided tours if you check out our calendar of Cedar Point. So for one of your hikes in the hiking spree, you can join a ranger guided tour and learn a little bit more about the history of the site.
Emily, this you mentioned, the ever-growing city of Jacksonville, and this area itself is increasingly kind of hemmed in by development. Is how does that impact the work that you do? The fact that there is so much growth in that area around the Seven Creeks recreation area?
Well, in some ways, it's actually helpful because parks are for the people. I mean, we want to preserve this area for all the benefits that nature gives us. And one of those benefits is time in nature, spent relaxing, spent communing, knowing why these places are important. And having a lot of neighborhood communities around means that we become their neighborhood park. We become the spot where they go to walk their dogs. We become the spot where they go with their kids to burn off that energy. And we want to be that service. But as there's more and more people, there's more and more pressure on our parks. So the fact that we have as much land preserved before the development comes in as possible is really going to help give everyone that connection to nature. So we were happy. I think we got in at the right moment to get as much of that land preserved. And we're still in the works on a few other properties, trying to make sure that these wildlife corridors are maintained and not cutting off animals so that we can keep that flow and keep that range for a lot of our species. So it's still a work in progress, but we don't see development as entirely bad. We want people to think of this as their neighborhood park and have that ownership, because when you feel an ownership over a park, you become a better steward for it.
Fred, just in terms of the tips that you all have for people coming out, I mean, there's sort of the usual stuff: keep your dog leashed and wear weather appropriate clothing. But one thing I thought was really interesting was photographing the maps on the kiosks before hiking, which I'd never thought of, but it seems like it could be really helpful.
Well, that's a great point. I mean, if you don't have access to the map, but I wanted to also let you know that you can, the map is accessible on our website also if you want to get the map to Seven Creeks. If you basically go to our visit page, you'll see a drop down for the Seven Creek
And we'll have a
Winter
link to
Spree.
that on our
Yeah,
on
and
our website.
it'll be that'll give you everything you need. But that's a great suggestion. Also, the most important thing is don't leave anything there. Whatever you bring in, take it out. Pack in, pack out. I think that's an important aspect. Keep the place clean. We have a lot of volunteers. In fact, last year we had over 840 volunteers that actually were stewards of the wilderness parks that helped us clean those parks. And we brought 800, over 800, nearly 900 individuals from underrepresented communities to enjoy those parks, bringing them there to fish for the very first time. There's a lot of youth that live here that have been here their whole life, and they've never gone to one of our parks. They never experienced that benefit
Or
that
had
nature
the
can provide.
sometimes access to waterways
Exactly,
altogether.
exactly. So we're doing a lot of things with the youth education, but this winter spree is part of our healthy living series. So we're really trying to get people out there and bring them to the parks, and we're hoping to do more of that in the future.
Well, we thank you so much for being here. Fred Richards, Emily Palmer, thanks for telling us about the Hiking Spree Challenge.
Thank you so much for having us.